Now this is my Steyr. It is my second 9mm. I got it for a great price on Gunbroker. Just no one bid on it except me, so it kind of sucks to the guy that sold it, but I got it for a great price, $350. I don't think I could do that again. Okay, the Steyr though is a 9mm. The normal mags hold 15, but apparently they're doing all these 17 round mags now, just these plus mags, plus base plates on the bottom, allow them to hold 17. Okay. Now the Steyr is interesting because it has a really steep grip angle. It's different from anything else I've seen. Well, not anything, just it's more drastic than others. So my hand is really close to the top. It might be close to a Glock's grip angle, but it just feels deeper too, like that way. Like Glock would be here and this one's here. The other thing of note is how skinny the slide is compared to others, especially. I'll show you in a moment. And then lastly, they're really distinctly different sights. The stock sights are triangle trapezoid sights. You can see them line up like that here. And it kind of works like a big dot. Now people go, how do you get used to this? I don't know. The first time I shot one, it worked great. Hit 5 hits at 25 yards on 5 different targets. Now this one is a long slide model, so it has the serrations in the front here for cocking like that. I still do overhand grab sometimes. It's a little more difficult with the skinnier slide. Steyr also is known for their really good triggers here. Now this looks like a weird piece. Chamber check, mag check. Weird piece that sticks out. It's a really large safety, but it doesn't feel like it, and it's really smooth, really light. Oops, okay, so this sticks out a little bit if you don't push it back into place properly, but that's dry firing concerns. Nothing the real world would be concerned about. Okay, so again, it's very, very light. It's got a nice futuristic look to it too. Some people, are into guns for their looks. I am a little bit. It's really aggressively blocky up front, unlike any others that taper off like that. But that's kind of a neat look to it. Okay, let's take it down. So it takes down, you need to have pulled the trigger already, then push this thing down here, pull this tab down. The slide just kind of shot forward because it released the block that was holding it in place, and the spring was still under pressure. So the slide here comes off. They use a polymer and metal flat blade spring here. I'm going to grab my FN, for example. Okay, so the FN slide is pretty standard in slide size, and look how different the height of the slides are. Rail to rail here. Quite different. Now, we'll put them back to back. You can see that the Steyr is very short, and that, well, okay, you can also see if I put them in line right here, like how the FN's spring is kind of within the body of this somewhat, versus this where it's very much below it, if you get what I'm talking about here. So the Steyr keeps its frame small, but it's still got a good weight to it. It's much heavier than this, and this is a shorter barrel, so that may be something to do with it. But it keeps your bore axis very low when you're firing, because all the weight's downwards. So your bore axis is very low to the barrel in its alignment right about here, and that keeps you shooting quickly. Now I can shoot pretty quickly with this one whenever it's at one target. I'm having to work on switching because reacquiring this is kind of okay, and sometimes I just switch guns too much. That's probably what it comes down to. but it's got a nice little slide stop release here too. It's very easy to get to for me, and I don't have big hands. And it's very downward facing too, because it kind of sticks out a little bit, unlike my FN here. Let me put it back together. Look how small this button is, and it's angled to be very flush with the body. It just doesn't quite reach that, it's not as easy to use as this one, but it's still okay. So this is great. I like this thing. The mag release here is pretty long too. Apparently it's reversible. I'm right-handed, so I'm not going to do that, but it's nice and easy for me to reach. The FNs is good too. The Glocks I cannot reach without an extended one comfortably. I have to cant my hand out like this to do that. The bottom is weird here. I don't know what they're doing with the contour, the design. Maybe it's so you can rip a magazine out if you need to. Yeah, I guess that's why there's a little bubble right there. But I don't know about this whole cutout here. But it's a pretty great gun. It shoots fast for me. Not as fast as my newest one, but I think there's not going to be a whole lot that top this thing. Anyway, Steyr doesn't really get a whole lot of press coverage. I don't really know if they understand marketing that well, but they're a great gun. The guy who designed this, I think he was also a Glock designer, and then now he's doing the Caracal also in the desert over there. It's a good design. They just aren't very well known at all. All right, leave me a question, leave me a comment, send me to your friends. See you in another video.